A worker was securing a truck loaded with large foam-like blocks or sofa-shaped materials. He was tightening a rope to secure the load, attaching it to a hook on the truck's flatbed. But as he pulled the rope tighter, the balance of the stacked load suddenly shifted. Within seconds, several heavy blocks began to collapse toward him. The worker tried to run away, but one of the blocks fell directly on him. Fortunately, no serious injury was reported. This incident is a clear reminder. Always check load balance before tying or tightening ropes. Use safety straps, avoid standing under or beside unsecured cargo, and make sure loads are properly stacked and evenly distributed. Even a small imbalance can turn into a dangerous collapse. This incident took place at a truck parking area in India. Two trucks were parked one behind the other when the driver of the rear truck made a serious mistake. He left the vehicle without applying the handbrake and didn't place any wheel chocks to block the tires. A few moments later, the unattended truck slowly began to roll forward. Near the front truck, a worker was adjusting something at the rear, completely unaware of what was happening behind him. Within seconds, the moving truck trapped him between the two vehicles. The driver of the front truck noticed it and rushed to help, but couldn't start his vehicle in time. This accident clearly shows how a few simple mistakes can lead to a life-threatening situation. Always apply the handbrake when parking heavy vehicles, use wheel chocks to prevent movement, and park only on level ground. Workers must stay alert, avoid standing between vehicles, and always be aware of their surroundings. At a construction site, a truck was parked close to a wall, carrying a large, heavy rubber pipe on its flatbed. A worker stood between the truck and the wall, picking up a rope from the ground to secure the pipe. Suddenly, something from the other side pushed it, and the pipe started losing balance. As it tilted toward him, the worker made a critical mistake. Instead of stepping away, he tried to stop the falling pipe with his hands. Within seconds, the heavy rubber pipe collapsed onto him. This incident reminds us, never try to stop falling loads, even if they don't look solid or metallic. Always stay alert, maintain distance from unstable cargo, and avoid standing between a wall and a vehicle. Awareness and quick movement can save your life. On a narrow road, a large truck was reversing without proper visibility. A car was parked close on one side, and an electric pole stood right behind the truck. The driver, without checking his mirrors or stepping out to inspect the rear, kept reversing. There was also no helper or spotter to guide him. Within seconds, the truck struck the pole, causing it to break and collapse onto the parked car. Fortunately, no one was inside the vehicle, and no one was passing by at that moment. This accident shows how a single careless action can lead to disaster. Always check surroundings before reversing. Use mirrors carefully, and have a spotter when space is tight. Near power lines, even a small mistake can cause severe electrical hazards. Workers were unloading heavy concrete sheets from a truck. As they placed one sheet beside the others, the stacked sheets became unstable. The new sheet added extra pressure, and since the previous ones weren't positioned securely, the entire stack lost balance and collapsed toward one of the workers. Fortunately, nearby workers reacted quickly and managed to rescue him before serious injury occurred. This incident highlights a major safety issue: improper stacking of heavy materials. Always use mechanical equipment like cranes or lifters for unloading. If manual handling is necessary, ensure that sheets are placed flat on the ground or secured firmly against a solid wall or support. Unstable loads can collapse without warning. Proper positioning and teamwork are the keys to safety. In a paper processing area, a worker was standing dangerously close to a fast-moving roller. He tried to adjust something, and as he placed his foot on top of the roller, it instantly grabbed him. Within a split second, the powerful rotation pulled the worker's entire body into the machine. This horrifying moment shows how deadly rotating equipment can be. The biggest mistake was approaching an active roller without shutting it down. No adjustment should ever be made while machinery is running. Always follow lockout, tagout procedures. Ensure the system is completely powered off before maintenance, and wear fitted clothing to prevent entanglement. A single unsafe move near a spinning roller can turn fatal in seconds. Safety must always come first. During a repair operation, a train had broken down directly beneath high-voltage power lines. Two workers climbed on top of the rail car to fix the issue. The overhead wires were dangerously close enough to touch if anyone stood upright. As one of the workers bent down to make adjustments, he forgot how close the live wires were above him. When he straightened up with his hands raised, his head and arms came into direct contact with the electrical line. In an instant, a strong electric current struck him. This incident shows how deadly a single moment of carelessness can be. Never perform maintenance under live power lines without isolating the electricity first. Use insulated tools, wear protective helmets and gloves, and if possible, move the vehicle away from overhead lines before beginning any work. At a construction site, workers were assembling a large steel framework. Heavy iron girders were being lifted from the ground to the upper level, where the structure was taking shape. Suddenly, one of the girders, loosely secured by a rope or cable, slipped and fell from above. It crashed down just inches away from a worker standing below, narrowly missing his head. In that split second, a life was almost lost. This incident reminds us that during structural work, every girder must be properly secured before lifting. Always double-check ropes, hooks, and support cables, and never allow anyone to stand directly beneath suspended loads. Even a single unsecured beam can turn a worksite into a disaster zone. In a narrow street, a truck was being turned around with the help of two spotters guiding the driver. The lane was extremely tight, and the nearby buildings had upper balconies extending outward, leaving very little space for movement. As the driver tried to maneuver the vehicle, he accelerated slightly. The top metal frame of the truck struck against a projecting balcony wall. In an instant, a large chunk of the wall broke loose and fell directly onto the two spotters standing in front of the truck. Fortunately, both were quickly rescued by nearby workers and the driver himself. This incident shows the dangers of working in confined spaces. Always assess overhead clearances before moving heavy vehicles, maintain a safe distance from walls, and ensure spotters stand at a safe angle, never directly in front of the truck. Awareness, distance, and communication can prevent tragedies in tight spaces. Inside a busy factory, a forklift was lifting a heavy load while moving forward. At the same time, a worker was walking through the same pathway, unaware that the forklift was following right behind him. Because the operator's view was blocked by the load, he couldn't see the man ahead. Within moments, the forklift struck the worker from behind. Fortunately, the operator reacted quickly and stopped the vehicle before a serious injury occurred. This could have ended very differently. Pedestrians should never walk in the path of moving forklifts, and operators must use horns, flashing lights, and alarms to alert anyone nearby. Always maintain visibility, use mirrors, and reduce speed in crowded areas.